Hey folks, this is your Cowboys at the Capitol report for this week. Here at the end of March, the last full week of March. Last week was a deadline in the legislature, so bills have come and gone in that sense, and we'll update you on that in just a few minutes. We're here, of course, at the OCA office in Oklahoma City. It's sale day at the Oklahoma City Stockyards. Good to see trucks and trailers traveling back and forth. Want to update you on the wildfire situation. We had the fortune of doing some meetings last week up in the Buffalo and Beaver area on Monday and Friday last week, and working with the folks up there, working with NRCS and FSA and the Conservation Commission, the Wildlife Department, all those different agencies to get information to those ranchers that have been affected by those wildfires. It was a great honor to go up there. We had about 240 people in Buffalo, about 130 in Beaver, and had some great meetings, and it was great to give that information to those producers. We also gave information regarding our foundation and what they need to do to apply for those funds that we continue to receive. We continue to receive donations into the foundation, and we're very appreciative of that, in addition to the fencing supplies and the hay and all those types of donations that are so needed by that folks out there. And let's hope we get a statewide rain this week. We'll pray for that, and that'll go a long way out in that country as well as across the rest of the state. Well, as I mentioned, it was a deadline week last week in the legislature. OCA is obviously very active in the legislature, watching out for our interests, cattlemen's interests. The big issue is the budget, of course, and the appropriations process has started on that. The committees are starting to meet. No state revenue bills as of yet. I'm sure we'll see some of those come forward. As this truck comes by, I'll try to talk real loud so you can hear me. The Senate did pass a bill that off-ramps the income tax trigger that was passed several years ago. That trigger would have lowered the state income tax from 5% to 4.85%. They passed a bill last week that would off-ramp that. We'll see what the House side does. Of course, that won't fill the entire budget gap, but that will go a ways towards that. There was a couple of education teacher pay raise bills. None of those bills as of yet, though, have a funding mechanism. So obviously that's going to be very important in the JCAB process, or the budget appropriations process as well. Switch gears to go to the federal real quick. We're headed to NCBA's Spring Legislative Conference in D.C. this week. We're going to meet with all 7 of our legislative offices, as well as a lot of regulatory offices. We look forward to seeing Mr. Pruitt, Administrator of the EPA, and we'll be carrying cattlemen's concerns to D.C. We'll give you an update next week on how that meeting went, but we look forward to doing that. Folks, if you have any questions about anything we're doing at the legislature, the wildfires, whatever it may be, give us a call at the OCA office. Check us out on our website. If you're a member of OCA, we appreciate it. If you're not, we sure hope we can earn your membership by how we're working hard for the cattle industry on a daily basis. We'll see you next week.